That's all right. The Senate will come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Senators Baisley, Bridges, Buckner, Coleman, Cutter, Danielson, Senator Danielson.
Excused.
Exum, Fields, Gardner, Janal, Gonzalez, Hanson, Senator Hanson, Hinrichsen, Senator Hinrichsen,
Excused.
Huckes Lewis, Senator Huckes Lewis,
Excused.
Kirkmeyer, Kolker, Liston, Lundin, Marchman, Michelson Janae, Malika, Pelton B, Pelton R, Priola, Rich, Roberts, Rodriguez, Simpson, Smallwood, Sullivan, Van Winkle, Will, Winter, Zenzinger, Senator Hinrichsen, Senator Hinrichsen,
Here. Oh, sorry. I thought
Mr. President.
Here. Good morning. Roll call has 33 present, 0 absent, 2 excused. Senator Baisley, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, those of you who are still awake, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the journal, Senator Michelson Janae.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate Journal of May 4th, 2024 be approved as corrected by the Secretary.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have the motion is adopted. Senate Services.
May 5th, 2024, correctly engrossed Senate Bills 228, 231, and 232, correctly re-engrossed Senate Bills 84, 95, 227, 229, and 230, correctly revised House Bills 1001, 1008, 1031, 1038, 1045, 1046, 1051, 1055, 1116, 1133, 1152, 1217, 1237, 1240, 1282, 1313, 1335, 1365, 1376, 1378, 1379, 1382, 1384, 1431, 1432, 1439, 1444, and 1464, correctly revised House Bills 1034, 1043, 1135, 1216, 1260, 1262, 1290, 1304, 1308, 1320, 1333, 1355, 1356, 1360, 1364, 1370, 1437, 1446, and 1452, correctly enrolled. Senate Bills 1437, 69, 72, 171, 186, and 197.
Message from the House.
May 4th, 2024, the House has postponed indefinitely Senate Bill 213. The bill is returned herewith.
Introduction of bills.
House Bill 1137 by Representatives Morrow and Taggart and Senators Winter and Bridges concerning implementing the recommendations of the Fraudulent Filings Working Group and in connection therewith making appropriation.
State Veterans and Military Affairs.
House Bill 1219 by Representatives McCluskey and Lynch, Senators Pelton B. and Malika concerning state-funded programs for first responders through multiple employer health benefit trusts and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Finance.
House Bill 1340 by Representatives Byrd and Taggart and Senators Kirkmeyer and Senzinger concerning the creation of incentives against the state income tax for students pursuing post-secondary credentials and in connection therewith making appropriation.
Finance.
House Bill 1373 by Representatives Amabile and Ricks and Senators Roberts and Will concerning persons licensed to sell alcohol beverages and in connection therewith converting certain liquor license, drugstore licenses to fermented malt beverage and wine retailer licenses, updating the requirements for wholesalers, removing the cap on the amount of alcohol beverages a retailer can purchase from retail liquor stores, prohibiting a fermented malt beverage and wine retailer from displaying alcohol beverages in certain locations on the retailer sales floor, expanding certain licensees' ability to deliver alcohol to certain other licensees, prohibiting a fermented malt beverage and wine retailer from selling wine with greater than 17% alcohol by volume or fermented malt beverages with greater than 14% alcohol by volume.
Finance. Special order, second reading of bills. Senator Henriksen.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate resolve itself in the Committee of the Whole for consideration of special order, second reading of bills.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no? The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The Senate will resolve itself in the Committee of the Whole for the consideration of the special order, second reading of bills, and Senator Henriksen will take the floor.
Lay over the balance calendar to Tuesday.
The committee will come to order, and the court rule is relaxed. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over Senate Bill 130, House Bill 1230, House Bill 1270, House Bill 1030, House Bill 1175, House Bill 1302, Senate Bill 107 until Monday, May the 6th.
The motion is to lay over Senate Bill 130, House Bill 1230, House Bill 1270, House Bill 1030, House Bill 1175, House Bill 1302, and Senate Bill 107 until tomorrow, Monday, May 6th. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bills are laid over. Mr. Hubler, will you please read the title to House Bill 1448?
Trade sides.
House Bill 1448 by Representatives McCluskey and Bacon and Senators Lundin and Zenzinger, concerning the creation of a modernized approach to funding public education and in connection therewith making and reducing an appropriation.
Minority Leader Lundin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1448 as amended and suggest an aye vote.
Senator Marchman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, everyone. So I just wanted to kind of pick up where I left off yesterday. Super excited to be able to make a formula that is a bit more equitable for the special ed kiddos, for students who are poor, for English language learners. But I just worry about the promise that we have made to our rural school districts by including that locale factor in it. And so it's the sustainability piece that is the biggest problem for me in this bill. Of course I want to give money to students. I'm a teacher and a mom. You guys all want to do the same. But I struggle with the way that we've done that. I'm going to remind us what my good colleague from Centennial said, which is we are starting in general fund at a negative $379.1 million. And so I have voted for every one of the measures that has come before the people in Colorado to fund our schools. And yet, again and again, they don't budge. They say no. And so we keep hearing we don't have money to pay off the BS factor. We heard that last year. We had $141 million left to pay off, but we didn't have money for it last year. And this year, our financial picture is even worse. Again, We are negative 379.1, and we're promising a $500 million investment. Personally, I like to make sure that I can follow through on what I say I'm going to do. And that's why I'm really struggling with this bill. That's why I'm not going to be able to support the bill. It is not sustainable. We are taking on something that we are not going to be able to afford. I also struggle with the fact that last year, CDE told us it would take $200,000 to run an adequacy study. I'm sorry, we have to do 2 of them. And then we found out, after that was raced through last year, we found out it's in fact going to cost us $2.8 million to do that. And yet, we don't really care what they say, right? Because we're going to go ahead and move forward on the recommendations of a politically appointed task force, and we're going to go ahead and push this through. We don't care we don't have money for it. We don't care we're in the hole more so than we have been in recent years. We're going to move forward. And friends, I appreciate where the sponsors are coming from on this, because I too wish that we could do that. The fact of the matter is, money doesn't grow on trees, and the way that we take from one underfunded student and give to another underfunded student who happens to be in a different zip code is a problem for me. The task force changes are not adequate or equitable. Colorado has historically underfunded schools across our state and across every factor that is currently within the factor, within our formula. Now we're adding new factors and new promises. This new formula simply proposes repurposing money from some factors, like cost of living, and reallocating them to other factors, like you live in a rural district. Taking from one underfunded student and giving it to another underfunded student is not equity. We keep hearing this is equity. And friends, I am just not seeing that. This harms all students. It has unintended consequences that will pit districts against each other for limited resources. Part of the bill that passed last year had the studies. We're not even going to wait for the studies. We're not going to wait for those. We're going to move forward. And all that those studies will do is tell us what baseline cost should we be at for funding our education. What is our baseline cost? So without a significant amount of new money coming in, this plan is unsustainable. I wonder if our voters will approve ballot language to support the plan we are about to pass. Without them, we will not be able to do this, period. And so we have a pretty bad track record, unfortunately. Our voters are not doing what we ask them, which is please pay for our schools and help with us, our schools, and they are not doing that. They are not doing that. We have folks who are struggling with inflation and housing and cost of living. So this bill is going to require more than $500 million new dollars to implement the proposed changes. And I just want to talk, I don't know if any of you guys have a savings account. I have one. In our family, we have a savings account, and we use it for things that we weren't really expecting, unexpected things that come up, or something really special. Sometimes we save our money for something special, like a trip or some clothes. This bill is on top of growth and inflation that's required by Amendment 23. And it proposes that we pay for it not with new money. No, we're going to take our $379.1 million deficit and we're just going to say, here's $500 million. We don't know where it's going to come from. We have this savings account. And after 6 years of doing this plan, our savings account for education will be gone. This plan will drain it. It's going to good things. It's going to the kiddos. But my challenge is it's like we're paying our mortgage out of our savings account. I don't usually do that. I usually pay it out of my checking account, but that's what we're doing. We're making a promise to rural school districts and other school districts that you're going to get all this money, but we don't have a plan to get it. We're going to need you to vote on it. We're going to need you to say yes for more money because this plan as it is not implementable. So given the budget constraints in the state, Colorado will not be able to meet our funding obligation. While I recognize our state education fund, the savings account, has a healthy balance, the massive deficit in the general fund gives me great concern. And I believe if you were to reach out to the CFOs and superintendents of your school districts, regardless of what we hear out there, I don't think they feel like it is a sustainable solution. We've seen that when there's a general fund shortfall, the state balances the budget in two places. Y'all remember the BS factor? I think we're looking at the next one. They cut in two areas, K-12 and higher ed. There's not money that's made on K-12. You don't make money off of it. You make money off of a lot of different industries, but not on K-12. That's why we're here. That's why we are supposed to be advocating that our resources are spent equitably. It is, in fact, our moral imperative to bring equity to the way we fund our schools. But without sustainable funding, this is absolutely going to result in cuts to schools in your districts and mine over the whole implementation period, which is 6 years. And this will lead to the next budget stabilization factor. And friends, we haven't even paid it off. We agreed to it. It's passed. It hadn't been signed into law. We still have that. And we're looking at saying, yep, and this is what our next one's going to look like. Simply cutting funding and trying to back into a solution, that won't work because it doesn't address the complex issues faced by districts in our state. Schools are experiencing a severe teacher shortage. They have the least competitive wages in the nation, and public schools are seeing the highest inflation rates in 20 years. We need to do everything we can to make it easier to hire great teachers for our kids, not harder. When we take money from students who live in a higher cost of living district and give it to students who live in a rural district, we are taking from one underfunded student and giving to another. We need to do everything we can to make smart choices. So the state is facing historic budget uncertainty. We have ballot language looming. We have a new property tax bill. We have a new income tax bill. Things are getting rough here in Colorado. We've implemented a number of new programs over the past 4 years that continue to remain underfunded, including universal preschool, healthy school meals program, and full-day kindergarten. These programs collectively, that we've already said we're going to do, we're already doing them, we're just not paying for them. Those are going to require more than $100 million of additional ongoing funding just to fully fund the school districts. So we're negative $380 million. We're going to add, you know what, we're going to give you guys $500 million. We don't have it, but we're going to give it to you. And then we are going to need $100 million more for things we already said we were going to do, and we don't do them because we can't afford them. And I don't see how this is any different at all. We'd like to work as a body and the people in the other chamber to fund the programs that we've already rolled out, the promises we've made that we're not keeping, before we roll out more. And so while I am super excited about what this bill will do for our poor students, our special ed students, our English language learners, this is a promise that the General Assembly is saying, we make this promise and we know wholeheartedly we cannot afford it. We can't afford it. That is not something we're going to be able to afford. But we're willing to say we're going to make that promise. We know that the voters haven't approved any new money, but we trust they will. And we don't need the adequacy studies for anything because we're just going to move forward. What's the rush? Why now? I'm so excited about parts of it, but the fact of the matter is this was not stake held across all of the districts and all of the people. I think we did a good job of playing that game of whack-a-mole. We whacked a mole and we whacked a mole and we whacked a mole, and then we got everyone to be in neutral. But guess what? If you talk to your superintendents and your CFOs, they are not neutral. They are not. They oppose this bill. So, while the underfunding of certain new programs is a concern, the bigger concern are those potential ballot measures that could cap our property tax revenues, which is how we actually fund education. SB 24144 gives us an idea of the potential impact these caps would place on the state. By limiting growth, the state share continues to grow. That's the part we pay, okay? That's the part we pay. Potentially as much as $900 million. Whew, I wish we had that. I would love to throw that at our students. Love it. Friends, we don't have it. This issue is further compounded by the fact that we keep hearing that we need this income tax reduction. So property taxes going down, income taxes going down, $379.1 million deficit, and now we're making a $500 million promise that we will not and we cannot keep. So as much as I see a lot of great things in this bill that could benefit students across the state in each of our districts, I'm challenged by the process. I'm challenged by the fact that we'd hear from someone, well, I can't support it, my district doesn't get, much. And so we whack that mole. We make sure they can get some more. But not all the moles have been whacked. I didn't get whacked. I did not get whacked. I would have liked to have been. Anytime we're talking education policy, y'all, I'm there for it. But I was not there for these. I was not. And that's fine. But friends, I was elected to represent teachers and represent my constituents. And again, teachers' voices are shelved. They are set aside because big money is at play in this building, and we gotta figure out all the little special interests. So taking additional cuts because of formula changes on top of potential property tax cuts is completely untenable. paying for this out of our state education fund is completely irresponsible. And I want to go on record today. What is today? Is it May 5th? Yeah. So today is May 5th, 2024. The passage of this bill will result in a BS factor, and it'll be sooner than we want it. And you guys were just sitting here like, yay, look at us, we passed the BS factor. No, who cares? We're ready to bring this one back. And I don't support it. Let's help our kiddos who need the help. Let's incentivize kids. Hey, how about we don't give extra money to kids based on their zip code? This bill doesn't do that. That's equity. This is not. I urge a no vote on HB 1448.
The motion is the adoption of House Bill 1448. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it. 1448 is adopted. Mr. Hubler, will you please read the title to House Bill 1454?
House Bill
Majority Leader Rodriguez.
54 by Representative Ortiz and Pugliese and Senator Lundin, concerning a one-year extension of the deadline for public agencies to comply with digital accessibility standards if the public agency demonstrates a good faith effort toward compliance.
Senator Lundin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1454. Don't believe there is any committee report. There were no amendments.
There are no committee reports. 1454 is moved. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I would simply say, colleagues, this is a bill that acknowledges a challenge we have. We believe it's a moral imperative that we make all the proceedings and the information that we generate in state government accessible to all the people of Colorado. A couple of years ago, we passed a law requiring that state government, municipalities, school districts make their information accessible. What we've discovered in the intervening time is that technology is not moving fast enough to make the images that are captured in PDFs and so forth auditorily, boy, it must be 2 in the morning, accessible to all individuals. So a sight-impaired person, you have to be able to describe what the graphic may look like and so forth. The technology doesn't exist. We're moving in good faith, all these various elements of government moving in good faith to resolve the issue, but we can't quite get there. This bill would simply extend for 1 year, doesn't relieve anybody from responsibility, but it extends by relieving liability for a period of 1 year for those governments, whether they're school districts, municipalities, or the state government, who are acting in good faith to address the situation and problem as quickly as they possibly can. I urge your aye vote for this bill. It is supported by Disability Law Colorado. It is supported, quite frankly, by Representative Ortiz in the other house or the other chamber, who was the author of the accessibility law in the first place. He acknowledges that this is appropriate, and we're working together to try and resolve this matter in a rational, reasonable, responsible way. Urge your aye vote on 1454.
The motion is the adoption of House Bill 1454. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. 1454 is adopted. Mr. Hubler, will you please read the title to House Bill 1467?
House Bill 1467 by Representatives Byrd and Sirota and Senators Senzinger and Bridges, concerning modifications to the state employee total compensation philosophy and in connection therewith requiring the Director of Personnel to establish a step pay system for state employees in the state personnel system.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1467.
To the bill.
Members, this bill is the bill that puts our personnel step plan that was negotiated through the Colorado Winds Agreement into our statutes, and I ask for an aye vote.
The motion is the adoption of House Bill 1467. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. 1467 is adopted. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion is for the committee to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee will rise and report.
Senate will come to order. Senator Henriksen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your committee of the whole has met and had a number of bills under consideration. Mr. Hubler, will you please read the report?
May 5th, 2024. Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report it as had under consideration the following attached bills, being the second reading thereof, and makes the following recommendations thereon. House Bill 1448, House Bill 1454, House Bill 1467 passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 130, House Bill 1230, House Bill 1270, House Bill 1030, House Bill 1175, House Bill 1302, Senate Bill 107 laid over until May 6, 2024 and retaining their place on the calendar.
Senator Henriksen.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of the report.
The motion is the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 2 excused, committee of the whole report is adopted. Right now. House Bill 1448, 1454, 1467 passed on second reading, order revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 130, House Bill 1230, 1270, 1030, 1175, 1302, Senate Bill 107 laid over until 5/6/2024 and retaining their place on the calendar. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to lay over the balance of the calendar until Monday, May the 6th.
The motion is to lay over the balance of the calendar until Monday, May the 6th. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the rest of the calendar will be laid over until Monday, May the 6th. Announcements. Senator Bridges.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate appropriations will meet, sorry everyone, Monday, 8:30 to hear House bills, just kidding, it's a short list, 1004, 1132, 1223, 1349, 1338, 1449, and Senate Bill 109.
Senator Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. President. May I have a moment of personal privilege?
Granted.
I hadn't really planned on doing this, but since it was so late, and I know all of these guys are still awake because this is the time that they called me last night. The most I got of the 185 phone calls and messages was between the 12 o'clock and 3 a.m. Time. So I want to let you all know how much I appreciate all of the calls. And thank you for leaving me your phone numbers and your place of residences. I would just remind you that if you leave me your phone number, when I call you, you have to answer the phone. Okay, because I'm not going to keep calling. And I try to suggest who your representative is, and I know that they don't call you back, and that's the reason why you want to call me. So, Casey and, Dwayne, you keep on calling, okay? Because, I called you back, and you didn't pick up. Oh, and Dr. Einstein, it was actually the Aurora Theater Massacre. It wasn't Columbine, okay? I know how they got all mixed up and you can't keep them together, but my son was murdered in the Aurora Theater Massacre. But I think I got through all of you. There might be another 20 or 30 still left on my phone. I'll try to get to those over the weekend. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any further announcements? Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Just make an announcement. On Monday, State Affairs and Finance will be meeting. bills will get posted on the calendar. On that note, Mr. President, I move the Senate adjourn until Monday, May the 6th at 10 a.m.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Senate will adjourn until Monday, May the 6th at 10 a.m.